Leah, your one and only host, and there'll never be another. All right, so today's episode, I have a special guest, my brother, my big brother.
What's up, y'all?
So, yeah, today's episode is titled A House Divided. And we're going to talk about how, like, growing up in separate households and having, like, multiple siblings and living in separate households and, like, how it affects y'all's relationships and growing up. So, all right, you on the hot seat. And so on the hot seat, it's gonna get hot. So yeah, question number one for you is why did you used to torture me when I was little? Like, yeah. Why did you torture me when I was little? Because you used to be at grandma's house with the no, not the Freddy mask, but the Jason mask on, grab a knife and just walking around like a stalker.
You know, I did not think you remember that.
I do.
I remember that pull-out bed that grandma had in her house.
Mm-hmm.
I remember pulling you up under there, snatching you up under there by your legs and stuff like that. I
Yes, you
remember
used to
all
do
that.
that.
Yes, I remember all of
I
that.
remember one time it was like you stayed in these apartments and like there was like this little lake thing and you had grabbed me by both my arms like you like swung me across it.
Oh yeah, you talking about Hamilton Station?
Yes.
Yes.
Like I realized when I was little, like I could not. I was just like, I don't know. I don't. If Carlos is gonna be there, like count me out. I'm not going.
What about the syrup?
Oh, we don't talk about that on the hot seat. We don't go there on the hot seat because that's just crazy. That's what we not go do. I was 5 years old. Matter of fact, yeah, I was sick and I was 5 years old. We went to Disney World as a family. Me, my big sister, him, my daddy, and our grandma. We all went to Disney World, and I was sick as a dog. Yeah, I had diarrhea, all kind of stuff, but I wasn't feeling good. But me personally, I didn't realize that that's what that was. So I thought it was syrup. I did. But yeah,
I remember that. See, I guess at that time I thought that's what you're supposed to do because like that's how my older brother used to do me. Like my older brother used to always mess with me like that. But he was worse though. Like my older brother was smothering me and stuff.
Okay, that's
crazy.
With a can of soup. He hit you in the head with a
can of soup. Put me through the wall.
Siblings have though like the worst beef, but the strongest love. I can say that. Like, cause me and my younger brother, we fought like cats and dogs. Like I remember I busted him in the nose. He gave him a nosebleed a couple times. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's evening where we at, but yeah. But yeah, like you have the weirdest relationships with your siblings, honestly. Each one's when you live in separate households, like I said, was telling my big brother earlier, like I'm closer with my older sister and the brother that's right underneath me. Hey Alicia, hey. Shout out Alicia, period. She said, hey, Pookie Bear. But yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm closer with my older sister and the brother that's right underneath me. Hey, you're near. Period. Slay. So yeah, like I'm closer with those siblings because those are the ones I predominantly grew up with. And then like I have two younger brothers after my younger brother that I'm closer with. And then I have him. So those are all my siblings. So yeah, it's like I got siblings somewhere everywhere. And it's like we all didn't grow up together, so it's hard, I would say, staying connected. I mean, we have phones and social media, but where you didn't grow up around each other, you don't really have that urgency, sense of urgency to be like, let me go check my brother, let me go check on my sister. Like, that they there and you just always assume they're good. But I think we got to do better as a unit. Like keeping in contact with our siblings and not just when some shit go down.
Okay. Because I know I got a thing where I always be like, I'm praying for all of my family. At the end of the night, I'll be saying my prayer, like praying for my children, praying for myself, and I'll be like praying for my family. And I just be feeling like, okay, in general, that prayer is good enough for all the family,
Right. Just generalize, God watch over my people. Period. And that's all that need to be said. Do I play Roblox? I do not play Roblox.
But I don't play games either.
So, um, I like I said, I was raised by my grandparents. You was raised.
Oh, by a mixture. It was my grandma's, my mama, yeah, grandma, grandparents, and my mama.
Yeah. I mean, I was raised. I lived with my dad, with our dad, the last 4 years of high school, and I would say that's the reason why I have a closer bond with, like, as far as like my parents go, I have a closer bond with my dad than I do my mama, because I actually lived with him for a short minute. So I stayed with my mother for like a real short bit of time. And that little short bit of time that I actually did spend with my mother, that brought me and the siblings that I grew up with around my granny and papa closer together, because it was just like, okay, we got to have each other back in this shit, because that was some, yeah. And then, like, even when we were little, we, the three of us, my mama first three kids, we always stuck together like the damn Powerpuff Girls. But you know what I'm saying? No homo for my little brother Brian. But yeah,
You need to write a book.
I do plan on writing a book. I don't play Fortnite. I don't play any video games. Actually, fun fact, video games be making my head hurt. Unless it's Mortal Kombat. Like, I can only play video games for like a certain amount of time, and then this shit had me like
Yeah.
head hurt.
Mm. Yeah, I don't play video games either. When I did play video games, it was more like Black Ops, zombies, or Halo, stuff like that. Killing. Oh, Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, and Miami Vice. But I
I
haven't
was gonna
played games in
say,
a long time.
question for you. So we was talking, I want to say, a couple weeks ago, last week, one and two, it was maybe a few weeks ago, but you was talking about how grandma was like, she had found us, your sisters.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a time where I didn't even know anything about my older brother. Like, I was literally, like I said, because you don't form memories until the age of 3. And so all I had known was my big sister, little brother, granny and pawpaw, and my granny and pawpaw's parents. And then I used to see my mama occasionally, because, you know, she could stop by and see her little kid, you know, at their mama house. So, at her mama house. So, yeah. One day my grandma just showed up to the house, and she was just like, you know who I am? I'm just like, no. You know, so my sister said she remembered, but I didn't remember her. No, my grandma from McCanafane. I thought she was like a lady finna come over there and tell us about her church. Real shit. Honest to God. I did not know that my grandma was my grandma when she came. And then she was like, she was just looking at me. She was like, you look just like your daddy. And I was like, how you know my daddy? And I don't know my daddy. Make sense. But you know, I was going with it because, you know, my papa, he wasn't just letting nobody in the house that he didn't know. So I was like, well, it got to be some truth to it. And then she was telling me, you know, you got a brother. And then he's on some bye. Like, this real
Who?
shit. Like, this when we
Bye.
get real on the hot seat. This is what happened. This is my life
Okay, because he
story.
want to talk about video games,
Right.
playing
This
Roblox and
ain't this
Fortnite. Go play those games. Bye.
this ain't no this ain't about games. This is real life
Okay.
right here. Okay. On the hot
Hey,
seat.
there's no banner up here talking about playing games.
Okay. Clock it. So, yeah. But yeah. So, anyways, back to the topic. So, yeah, it was my 5th birthday party, and that was when I met my brother. And like, we literally, I have some pictures, and when he told me that that's when we first seen each other again, like, it all came back to me. And it was like, dang. So this is the first time that we met right here. And I had these pictures, and I was thinking, like, when did I meet him before this? But I'm like, no, this is all that was on camera. The pictures that we took that day on my
Yep.
5th birthday party was the first time that I met my big brother.
Hey, stay out my zero sugar stuff. I don't know which one of y'all did it, but that creamer in there bought that shit to mix with some stuff just because you see something in there. It say zero sugar, don't fuck with it. All right.
Okay, moving on back to the doggone podcast. He just wanted to be heard and seen because he got hung up on earlier. But okay. Yeah. So yeah, explain y'all's POV from that whole situation.
Okay, like in that with that situation, I know that um back then it was like y'all was gone for so long. We haven't seen y'all in a long time. And it was like
Hmm.
some years that went by. And grandma was like, we found your sisters. And I was just like, what, you for real? And then she was like, yeah. Um their mama having a birthday party for them for Leah at Chuck E. Cheese, and you want to go? And I was like, yeah, I want to go. Cause see, I remember.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember because like I remember when they was little, when they was babies and stuff like that. But that's because I'm older. I'm 32. She 23. So the memories was there. But it was just like I was excited because it had been a long time. And it was just crazy because I was used to seeing them and like at my dad's house, and then it was like when I came over here, I was like, oh, okay, he came pick me up, and then they weren't here no more, and so basically it was just me either going to the back room playing games on that TV back there, or just sitting down at one of his friends' house while he was, you know, watching the game or something like that, watching boxing and stuff like that, boxing matches and stuff, or going to barbecues and stuff. But basically, it was just like, oh dang, what happened? Because it was like I was going over his house like either every other weekend or something like that. But then next thing you know, they weren't there, and so then years went by. Yes, like grandma tell her, she said, "Yeah, I was kidnapped." And yeah, she said that she
Grandma
she
was gonna be
kidnapped.
dramatic every time.
She said they was kidnapped. Their mama kidnapped her, and so just disappeared.
That don't even make sense. How the mama kidnapped the kids? The mama.
It can happen.
That's crazy. But yeah, all I know is we was doing just fine at my granny's house. Um, Now I will say this. Um, my two younger siblings, I went to both of their graduations. We all went to the same high school, but we didn't go to the same high school at the same time. So I feel like, in a sense, I feel connected to them in that way because we got the same alma mater, you know. And then Brian and Carla, they went to their own little high school, Shaw Hardaway. But we got three out the bunch that I'm saying are Greenways, and like I just feel like that's just great because the family legacy, obviously, not family legacy, but my great grandma on the maternal side, they went to she went to Spencer, which is a historically black high school. So yeah, period. Um, I would say me and you we started back talking more really once I got in high school and started living with dad.
Hmm.
It was then where we started. The
Yeah, you was
torture phase was
14.
over
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, you was in cosmetology school still. Or did you just had graduated?
Let me see. What year was that?
2015?
Okay. I had just graduated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had just graduated from school, and then that's when you had came up there to Dillard's when I was doing that um basically interview, but where you had to bring your own person up there to do color on or whatever.
Mhm.
And we did that custom color, and it's crazy because the color you have now, like it's basically was somewhat like that,
Mhm.
but it was like a little bit darker.
Yeah. I think this is like a black girl blonde right here. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But yeah, we start getting closer. This is the hot seat, so we're gonna be real. So the first time I ever smoked was my brother, and it was when I was 14 in high school.
And that's true.
Real shit. The
Yeah.
I can't hold y'all though. Like I never been a habitual smoker, and I think my experience then was the reason why I never was able to become a habitual smoker. Like to make that shit just something I gotta have. It's always been something that I can do it, and then I can just stop.
And that's a good thing. See, like I wanted you to go ahead and experience it early, so especially so you knew that couldn't nobody trick you into, oh, she messed up, she high, I can take advantage of her. It was like, no, nobody gonna be able to take advantage of you because you gonna know what's going on. You know.
I don't know who this is texting me. Oh, but anyways, yeah, y'all. Like we 15 minutes in on the hot seat, and yeah, I think parents as a whole have to realize they don't realize the damage that they're doing because they only be thinking about themselves, and you know they don't necessarily think about, dang, I got this kid here, this kid there, these kids here, and they know of each other, but they don't interact with each other. They not speaking to each other they not seeing each other on a daily basis. They not growing up with each other. So, you know, when we get older, it's no different. I'm saying? We all gonna be grown and live our lives and do our own separate things, obviously, but it makes a way bigger difference when y'all grew up together to like still have that family closeness, because it's just like, dang, it'll be, you know, crazy for me to just one day move across the world, start a family, and then like my kids don't even know they have an uncle, you know, a few uncles back at home, and it's like they don't know because I ain't gonna say they won't know because obviously I'm gonna tell them, but they're gonna wonder why they don't have such a close relationship with their uncles and aunties. But it's just like, well, we didn't really, you gonna see them, but having to explain to them that I didn't grow up around them the same way they'll grow up with their own siblings, if that makes sense. Like you, my brother, his four children are by the same person. So therefore, they all had the same DNA, same genes, all that. And they're gonna grow up around each other for life. They're gonna be close knit, all four of them. And that's beautiful. They all grow up with each other,
And I don't plan on having any more children with anyone else. And that's dead. Like, I don't want to, no matter, even though the relationship didn't work out, I'm not gonna have kids with nobody else because I'm not gonna make my children feel like they're being replaced. Because like I'm starting fresh and that child get to live with dad, but they don't, but hell, it'll be 50-50 really. I'd rather just do 50-50 for custody, see my children. I'm not gonna have no more kids with nobody else.
period. And I don't even have kids yet, and I don't even know when it's gonna be my lucky time, but it ain't gonna be no time soon. I'm gonna tell y'all that the real P will be not be pregnant. Okay, anytime soon. I am an auntie. I enjoy being an auntie. Um, I have 6 total nieces and nephews. I'm evened out now. 3 nieces, 3 nephews. It's a blessing, honestly.
6.
My brother Terrell, he had my younger brother Terrell, and see that's another
Oh,
thing.
he
Like,
had a baby.
I
Oh,
didn't grow up with Terrell, and obviously we know each other. There's a relationship there, but it's not a close knit relationship. And so he done had his first daughter, Ava, and it's
I
like,
like that name.
hopefully, I'm able to make my presence known in Ava's life and any of my other children's future kids' lives. I don't want it to be like, no, I barely see auntie, I barely see my first cousins, because obviously I'm gonna have kids and I'm gonna want my kids to know their first cousins because that's gonna be their first cousin. Like that's so crazy. They need to know them. So it's like you need to be out here talking to your cousin, okay?
Okay.
So yeah,
Shoot. I have a little brother. He's 17 years old. Imagine when he had kids. We 15 years apart. That's a big jump.
huge
On my
jump.
mama's side, I'm the only one who have kids.
Sure.
And my older brother just turned, I think, 36. Yeah, he just turned 36. He don't have no kids. He was saying he wasn't gonna have no kids at all, but now he's saying he might in the future. But still,
Y'all, I just want girls. 4 girls. That's what I want. And that's what I'm gonna have. But we gonna see. We gonna
4
see.
must be the magic number.
I think it is.
It would have been 5 kids for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because she had a miscarriage early last year before she got pregnant with. No, early uh 2023 before she got pregnant with
Allison.
Allison. So it would have been 5. Let's see, everything happened for a reason.
Yep. It sure do.
Because that happened right after grandma had passed away.
Yep. I was gonna say. So, what do you think could have been done in our younger years that could have been like that could have wedged that gap? I mean, I feel like they did the best that they could, honestly, like our grandparents did with organizing.
Yeah, the grandparents did.
It always be the grandparents. The parents don't be nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found. It be the
Grandparents.
grandparents that really be the movers and the steppers in the family.
You know,
And
I
I
don't
feel like
know.
I haven't seen one of the parents, current parents that are grandparents now. They ain't really fully stepped into their roles yet. Because I feel like I'm more of a grandma than my own doggone mama. But I'm an auntie. So yeah, I feel like I'm an OG auntie status. I've been an auntie for 11 years. So
Are these videos when they're live? Are they uploaded after it's over?
mm-hmm.
Mm.
A granny gonna check in on that baby.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta worry when it comes to grandmas. Your parents won't call you for nothing.
These new school grandmas ain't
These
nothing like the old school grandmas.
okay, the old school grandma gonna make sure you ate.
Okay, they was raising us.
Exactly.
These new school grandmas, they want to go do their own thing, live their life, and then come back and be seeing grandma baby later on.
Right.
But
You
I'm
need
not
to
gonna speak on any people at all.
look. We gonna
No
wrap up.
negativity.
We're gonna keep it P on, but we keeping it P on the hot seat. That's just real shit, and some shit got to be addressed because if it don't be addressed, then it's gone. You can continue to see it, and his future will repeat itself. But I
Mm-hmm.
tell you one thing though, my kids gonna be raised by me, and my grandkids they're gonna be loved on by me, and they gonna have that same treatment that my grandmas gave me. They can
Okay.
come over grandma's house and lay in the bed with grandma, watch cartoons, eat snacks all day. They can do that because you know what? Because grandma gonna be having like that, and grandma gonna cook. Period. So yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What they missed. You know what I'm saying? What wasn't clicking, Stephen? In the generational breakdown, they just was so ready to get out the house that once they got out the house, they just stayed outside forever.
Mm.
They
Yes.
took Freaknik era and ran with it and said they was never letting it go.
But still turning up. And then it's like they act like they have a memory loss when they get older and forget. Did any of that stuff happen?
Right, like
Like it just was erased. That's really what we going on.
it's really wild. All right, so we 24 minutes in, and so I'm gonna close out the hot seat with this. Remember to keep it P. If it's something that you're passionate about, you need to pursue it. And pursue it in the way that you feel like is, you know what I'm saying, it should be pursued, period. Because don't allow somebody else to tell you how to go about some shit unless they done did it themselves. Straight like that. Yeah. Next episode, I don't know what I'm gonna do it on. I might do a would you rather, or it might just be the evolution of a real piece, delusions. Um, yeah.
You need to do a reading.
I don't be doing readers on my what you call it. But y'all, I hope y'all ain't know this, but saying the real P is also a psychic. The P stand for psychic. I just be knowing shit. Which, I don't really talk about all that stuff because I don't need, saying, all that, unnecessary and unwarranted attention. Because just know that the P also stands for protected. And y'all can shop my merch. I'm wearing one of my shirts. As you can see, giving face, because it always gave face. Period. My parents did one thing right. They ain't do nothing else. But shop my merch, www.therealpbmha.com. You can find this shirt as well as other shirts, as well as my brand logo shirts, and I also have a pair of shorts on my site. So yeah, shop the merch, support your girl if you really love me, and if you really pee. Period. Thanks again to my big brother for showing support and being on the show and doing this episode with me. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So yeah, and then also, helping me curl my hair. He helped me curl my hair just then. Yeah, that's the perks of having a big brother that went to cosmetology school. Saying, if you walk around with your head fucked up, it's on you. Okay.
Okay, that's the first thing. Anybody who went to cosmetology school, the first thing they see is your head, your hair. First thing we see. Next thing be the makeup.
I did my own. I did a little one too, but I didn't do too much. But that's all, folks. I mean, just remember to keep it P. Keep your head up, keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Don't allow any trial or tribulation to make you be like, all right, I'm done. This, what I'm saying? Life gets greater later, and it's going to be those hard battles that you went through when you was younger that's going to have you like, this is a cakewalk when you was older. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be running laps around people. They're going to be looking at you like, how do they keep, what I'm saying? How do they keep going after all this bullshit they dealing with? It's just because, like, you've seen worse. You've been through worse. I'm saying? This is a cakewalk, for real.
Don't let the devil win.
Okay, ever. I seen a post, this is dark. But, y'all, it's so messed up. But it was just like, it said, don't commit suicide. It said, just keep living. You're going to die one day.
It's okay.
Okay? Like, just don't let it be you. Okay? Don't be your own adversary.
Okay. Because guess what? If you kill yourself over somebody else, then they win. Because they probably want you to do it anyway.
Exactly. So, don't let those intrusive thoughts win. Remember, there is a suicide hotline, 988. If you ever feel, down and out and you need somebody to talk to, that is the suicide crisis hotline, 988. Remember, the real P bitch told you so. And I wouldn't lie to you, that's P. But all right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the hot seat. And until next time, until next Friday, y'all know what to do. Keep it P.